Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining me. My name is Mariano Cicciarelli. Welcome to the 5th video of my series, of my Making a Techno Track series. Today we're going to be looking at two different guitars that I use to form actually one. You can download this track that I'm working on, which is called Moment. Is available for free download, and you can get it following the link on the description below. Without any further ado, let's get right into it. First of all, I wanted to show you, I wanted to play the track for a little bit for you without the two elements that we're going to be looking at, which are this one and this one. Let's just change the color for you, let's say, and let's rename it as well. Probably they're called exactly the same because at the beginning I duplicated the tracks, the channels, and then edited them. I just want to show you how the track sounds without those two elements. The reason being is because actually, when you don't know they are there, you probably wouldn't miss them. However, once I'll show you the track without them, and then I'll add them, and you'll see the texture that I'm trying to create. They're actually, even though they sound all the time, and the line is continuous, it almost seems like they are in the background, and then when there's a bit of air, they come through on top of everything, and you can actually hear them. So that is a bit clearer. Let me just show you. I'll just play the track for a little bit, and you'll be able to see when they start, and you'll see if you miss them or not. Probably not, because you don't know the track, but you'll see what I'm trying to say here. It's not. So far, it sounds like a normal track with a few elements here and there. It doesn't really sound empty because there's a lot going on. There's some vocals, there's some ambient sounds, there's some percussion. There's this guitar which is floating all over the place from one side to the other one. So it doesn't really feel like anything is missing here. However, one of the things that I really like to do is to mix my backgrounds, and one of them is techno, electronic music, tech house, and the other one is rock, as you can actually probably see. So something I wanna add to this, which at the moment sounds very sort of techno-ish, although it is made with guitars. I want to give it a bit of an edge, a bit of a rock edge. So I'm gonna add these two now, and you'll see what I'm trying to do with them. So they're sort of like at the end of the line. You'll see what I mean by that. If we split everything by fours, by 4 segments, which is in this case 16 bars. So you've got 16 bars there, 16 bars there, and there at the end of them, at the last 4 of them, so you've got 12, and these two guitars start at the end of those 16 bars, so from the bar number 13 to the 16th. The reason for this is, as I was saying before, I want these two guitars to actually push the groove when there's nothing there pushing it. So let me just play it from there actually, and you'll see what I'm trying to say. and now the vocal comes in again on the guitars. And now they leave space for the voice again, They come again. So basically what I'm trying to create is some sort of like a canon, which is not really a canon, because a canon is when two different voices or two different instruments play the same line one after the other one. But I want to create this effect. When the voice is doing something, the guitars are quiet or not doing much, just being another element in the track, just giving a bit of body to the track. But then when the voices aren't sounding or aren't singing or doing anything, then the guitars come in and play a more important role, and that's what I'm trying to do. Texture. Now. Something else that I'm doing here, which you may have noticed it yet, but you may haven't noticed it, which is that I'm using two guitars to do exactly the same thing, but they aren't quite doing the same thing, even though the line is the same, and the recording is the same, because I used the same recording and just duplicated it. The instruments are slightly different. And not only that, but also I'm using different EQing and different panning on both of them. So if I play, let's say, the right side, it sounds like this. Yeah, I'm using this plugin and I played around with it a little bit. I didn't want any bass, and you can actually tell by the EQ in here, and actually I'm cutting it here as well. Loads of mids, zero treble, and loads of presence as well. Also, something else that I added here is the studio reverb, and I'm using quite a bit of it, and it's pretty big, the room size, so that it sounds like the guitar is almost like in the distance, but still has loads of presence, especially in the mids. Now, that guitar on its own it doesn't sound boring, but it sounds okay, sounds decent. Okay, so now what I want to do is to show you the other guitar, which is by the EQ, and you can already see that it's a lot stronger on the high end, so it's gonna be crispier, and probably it's gonna have a bit even more presence than the other one. Something else that I did on this guitar, actually that I didn't do on this guitar, is to add reverb, so it's gonna sound more dry and crispy. You can see there's no bass, there's no mids, loads of treble and presence as well. So let me just play it for a little bit so you can actually hear it. Whoops, there you go. Yep, very, very dry, edgy, grungy, very strong on the highs, not so much on the mids. I'm actually cutting a little bit of the mids. I'm going down with the mids. You can see -4 dB on the mids, so that I can give room to this guitar. So again, by themselves, none of them are really special. Now, the interesting part comes when I put both of them, and this is why I panned them at around 20 to the left and 20 to the right. This means that when I play both of them, they're gonna create one unique guitar. It's pretty much like layering samples to create a kick. It's pretty simple. So you leave space between the samples, so that they don't compete don't compete against each other. You use different effects on both samples so that they again don't compete but add to this one sound that you want to create. And you can actually see that with one, I'm going for a really space sort of like reverb guitar to the distance, more on the mids. On the left, I'm going for something more crisp and strong on the highs. And then when I put both of them together, they're gonna sound like a more potent guitar, more full, and a much richer sound, as I will show you right now. You can see if I go to the master channel, this giving me quite an even sound wave in the mids and the highs. So that means there's a pretty good sound that is occupying. It ends up being almost like one sound occupying that mid to high frequency, that low mids to high mids frequency, which gives loads and loads of texture to the track. Because if we see all the other elements, and this is really important, and this is why you should pay so much attention to the EQing and the mixing, that we're gonna go further into that in other videos. But if we pay attention to the sounds that we're using, we've got the bass, which is using the low end. We've got this guitar, which at moments is using this frequency, and then at moments is using more of a high frequency, but mostly on that end. Then you've got these two guitars which are occupying the mids. You can see the other guitar was high here and lower here. These two guitars are well centered in the mids. Then we've got something else on the mids, but the crispiness of this is more focused on the highs. But also there's something else interesting here, which is that I'm making this guitar go around, so it doesn't feel like it's competing with the other two. Then what else? Then highs again, or mid highs, let's say. And then the rest are vocals, more percussion on the highs, and then the vocals, which go from the mids to the lows and the highs as well. But again, as you can see, every element occupies a different space on the sound spectrum, and that's really important for you to consider once you're mixing an EQ in the track, but also when you're building the sounds that you're building. If you pay attention, if you think about it, I was actually thinking of not only what they do as an instrument, but also what role they're playing, or what role they're gonna play in the final mix and in the final space when I mix everything and EQ everything. So again, I think that's pretty important to pay attention to whenever you're adding anything to a track or removing anything from a track. You need to think not only the harmonic side of it, and not only the melodic side of it, but also what role it plays in the sound wave of the track itself. So yeah, I think again, I'm kicking myself because every time I start a video and I say this one is gonna be short, so this time I'm really trying to make it short so that it's easier for you guys to watch and to support. So I think that's gonna be it for today. If you have any questions about it, if you want to know more about any of the elements of the track, or if you want actually the elements to remix the track yourself or to play around with it, just let me know and I'll send everything your way. Also, if you have any ideas as to what element you want me to talk about next, or any ideas as to any content that you want me to create on this channel, also let me know. You can leave a comment on the comment section below. If you like the video, please share it, subscribe it, like it, you know the deal. I really appreciate you watching this far, and if you haven't watched, I appreciate you watching whatever length you've watched. So thank you so much. This has been all for me, at least for this week anyway. Probably next week we're gonna go with this channel, which is yet another guitar, and yeah, we'll go through it next week. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Mariano Cicciarelli. See you next time.